Running a drug lab in the wrong place can bring swift and devastating punishment. Deep within the dense, unforgiving Guatemalan jungle, a powerful cartel was mass-producing fentanyl, enough to kill millions. They believed they were safely hidden beneath the canopy, out of reach and sight. But 2 U.S. stealth fighters changed all that in minutes, reducing their operation to ashes. How did the Air Force find it? What firepower made it possible? Let's walk through the operation that saw the United States Air Force drop the hammer on a cartel drug lab. At 600,000 feet above the Guatemalan jungle, a classified National Security Agency satellite was not just collecting images, it was hunting heat signatures. Equipped with ultra-sensitive thermal sensors capable of detecting temperature changes as small as 2 degrees from orbit, this satellite scanned the forest floor for unusual activity. The jungle at night should be cool, resting around 68 degrees Fahrenheit, but 1 square mile glowed with abnormal heat. Temperatures between 85 and 90 degrees. Such sustained heat was not natural. It screamed industrial activity. The satellite systems flagged the anomaly and sent encrypted data to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency for immediate analysis. Within minutes, analysts reviewed the thermal images, revealing a clear pattern beneath the dense tree canopy. Heavy machinery in constant operation. This wasn't a passing campfire or wildlife movement. It was an industrial operation running 24/7. 3 separate hot zones formed a triangle roughly 200 meters apart. The layout was textbook for drug production. 1 building processing chemicals, another storing materials, and a third for packing finished products. The cartel believed the jungle would conceal their operation. That assumption was fatally wrong. Yet, the Air Force doesn't act on thermal data alone. Visual confirmation was necessary. Enter the MQ-9 Reaper drone, a remotely piloted aircraft approximately 27 feet long, capable of staying airborne for 14 hours and flying silently at 25,000 feet. The drone's high-resolution optical and infrared cameras locked onto the heat sources. What the drone observed confirmed the satellite's thermal data. Fresh clearings appeared where none had existed before, new structures hidden under camouflage netting, and fresh vehicle tracks weaving through the vegetation. Exhaust stacks from generators protruded, betraying the operation's power demands. The drone's signals intelligence equipment intercepted radio communications too. The cartel spoke openly, assuming isolation. Discussions about schedules, supply deliveries, and output were all recorded. By morning, a complete intelligence picture emerged. This wasn't a small lab. It was a large-scale synthetic drug production hub, churning out fentanyl at industrial scale, capable of widespread harm. The group's remote location did not protect them from detection. The Air Force now had verified locations, confirmed structures, and legal authority to strike. But spotting the heat was just step 1. The Air Force needed eyes that never blinked. Early that morning, another MQ-9 Reaper lifted off from Creech Air Force Base in Nevada, bound for the Guatemalan jungle some 2,400 miles away. Pilots controlled the $17 million drone remotely from air-conditioned trailers thousands of miles distant, a glimpse of modern warfare's reach. At 25,000 feet, the drone entered a silent holding pattern over the cartel compound, unseen and unheard below. Its mission: monitor, record, and gather exhaustive data. Its multispectral targeting system locked onto the 3 buildings identified by satellite. This advanced camera system could discern details as small as license plates from 15 miles away and identify people from 5 miles up. For the next 72 hours, the drone watched relentlessly. Staff arrived early. Supply trucks rolled in after dark. Security guards patrolled regularly every 2 hours. The cartel took precautions. Lookouts posted on forest paths, coded radio language, nighttime movements, but they never imagined the skies above betrayed them. By Wednesday afternoon, analysts had mapped the entire compound. Building 1 housed drug processing equipment. Building 2 stored finished product in 50-kilogram packages. Building 3 sheltered approximately 15 personnel. Electronic surveillance intercepted radio chatter confirming a major delivery scheduled for Thursday night. 3 trucks carrying chemical precursors needed to produce 500 kilograms of fentanyl valued at $50 million on the street. That shipment would never arrive. Thursday morning brought increased thermal output from Building 1. All processing machinery was running at full capacity, making identification on thermal images easier and more precise. Simultaneously, at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida, F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters were prepped, each jet armed with 2 GBU-31 Joint Direct Attack munitions, 4,000 pounds of precision-guided explosives per aircraft, designed to penetrate hardened targets. The plan? 3 buildings, 6 bombs. By Thursday evening, the Reaper had transmitted over 2,000 high-resolution images, noting every doorway, guard routine, and equipment position. While the cartel spent months building their secure facility, the Air Force spent 72 hours planning its destruction. At 2,100 hours, the drone switched from reconnaissance to active target marking. Observation ended. The strike phase began. Unaware, the cartel went about their routine, relying on jungle cover that was no longer effective. After days of surveillance, the Air Force had all it needed. At 0300 hours Friday, 2 F-35A Lightning II stealth jets roared down the runway at Eglin Air Force Base. Each $80 million aircraft packed enough firepower to level a city block. The cartel had chosen a deadly line of work. The F-35s are no ordinary fighters. Coated with radar-absorbent material, they slip past enemy radar undetected. By the time they appear on sensors, their weapons are already in motion. Each carried 2 GBU-31 bombs inside their fuselages. GPS-guided 2,000-pound bombs with incredible accuracy, striking within 10 feet of their target from 40,000 feet. Each bomb packed 945 pounds of tritonal explosive, capable of penetrating 11 feet of concrete or 22 feet of earth, designed to obliterate fortified labs and underground bunkers. At 03:15, the jets lifted off into the early morning sky, their flight to target lasting 2 hours and 43 minutes. The cartel remained asleep, unaware American aircraft were already en route. Flying at 36,000 feet, the F-35s remained invisible to ground radar, appearing as tiny blips or small birds due to stealth coatings. Inside the cockpit, pilots had full ground views via helmet displays and real-time thermal sensors showing heat sources below. The onboard computers calculated wind, gravity, and air pressure, fully programming the bombs before release. At 05:58 hours, the jets reached the designated point 50 miles from target. The Reaper drone transmitted final targeting data. Building 1 blazed with heat, the lab operating at full capacity. Timing was perfect. Maximum damage, minimal chance of escape. At exactly 600 hours, the lead pilot armed weapons. The targeting system locked on GPS coordinates for Building 1. Bomb bay doors silently opened. At 0601, the first GBU-31 bomb dropped, fins deployed, and it began its 3-minute guided descent using satellite navigation. 15 seconds later, the second F-35 released its bombs, targeting Building 2, where processed fentanyl was stored. Both jets climbed to 40,000 feet, their mission complete. Now they watched. The cartel believed jungle remoteness kept them safe. They did not anticipate stealth aircraft that cannot be seen or stopped. When the bombs began falling, cartel guards finally looked up. But it was too late. At 0604 hours, the first GBU-31 broke through the canopy at 1,200 feet per second. Guards had less than 1 second to react. The bomb's hardened steel shell penetrated 3 feet into Building 1's concrete floor before detonating. What followed was an apocalyptic blast. The 945 pounds of tritonal explosive created a shockwave traveling 26,000 feet per second, exerting 300,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Concrete walls designed to withstand storms collapsed instantly. The blast vaporized everything within a 50-foot radius. Metal machinery worth $2 million vanished into thin air. Storage tanks ruptured, igniting fires reaching 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The entire lab was obliterated in under 2 seconds. At 06:04 and 15 seconds, the second bomb struck Building 2 with surgical precision. This structure held $50 million worth of product in heavy-duty containers. The impact triggered a massive fireball, igniting a chain reaction. Flames became so intense, they lit the forest like a second sun. The explosion registered as a minor earthquake over 200 meters away. Above, the Reaper captured thermal images showing temperatures over 4,000 degrees, hot enough to melt steel and erase almost all evidence. Building 3 collapsed seconds later. The shockwaves weakened and destroyed it. 15 people inside never had a chance. By 06:05, main blast ceased, but secondary explosions continued. Trucks loaded with fuel parked behind Building 2 ignited sequentially, sending fireballs to 200 feet high. The blaze spread to the trees visible from space. Chemical storage tanks detonated as heat climbed. Acetone, sulfuric acid, and other industrial liquids exploded violently. A smoke cloud soared 10,000 feet before winds carried it away from towns. At 06:10, the Reaper confirmed complete destruction. 3 massive craters marked the former buildings, the largest 60 feet across and 20 feet deep. Nothing could survive such devastation. What took 8 months to build was erased in 6 minutes. Help wouldn't arrive for hours. By then, the site would be a burned wasteland. The cartel lost not only buildings, but $50 million in finished product, $10 million in equipment, and $5 million in raw materials. The biggest loss, the illusion that remote jungles offer protection. The blast left a 300-meter-wide dead zone. The poisoned soil would not recover for years. At 06:30, the F-35s landed safely back at Eglin Air Force Base, mission complete after 3 hours and 27 minutes in the air. The message was clear: hiding dangerous operations in the jungle is futile, but the real devastation was only beginning. At 06:06 hours, the first fuel truck exploded like a firework. The cartel had stored 500 gallons of diesel behind Building 2 to power generators. This decision proved costly. The heat ignited the fuel, sending flames 300 feet into the treetops. The explosion triggered a chain reaction. Nearby storage tanks burst as rising temperatures pushed them past safety limits. Tanks held flammable chemicals: acetone, methanol, toluene, all stored dangerously close. At 06:07, 3 acetone tanks exploded simultaneously, shaking windows 12 miles away. Local sensors registered a magnitude 3.8 earthquake. The lab had become a bomb-making site. Beneath Building 1, analysts spotted an underground chemical storage room containing $2 million worth of precursors. The first blast cracked its ceiling, allowing hot gases inside. By 06:08, containers of hydrochloric acid ruptured and leaked into the stockpile. A violent chemical reaction ensued as sulfuric acid mixed with acetone, driving temperatures over 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt copper, turn soil into glass, and cause a second underground crater. Debris flew 2,000 feet into the air. Trees 500 meters away caught fire from falling hot metal. At 06:15, the Reaper recorded the largest explosion yet. The group's propane tanks, holding 20,000 gallons, detonated simultaneously. The resulting fuel-air blast reshaped local airflow, pulling oxygen from half a mile away before expelling a massive heated wave. Nearby birds vanished in the heat. Flames consumed 50 acres of forest. Rescue teams 30 miles distant heard the blasts. Locals mistook the explosions for meteor strikes or plane crashes. 2 American jets had wiped out a major drug site with precision and overwhelming force. By 06:20, fires engulfed everything burnable. The century-old jungle exploded from heat, feeding a raging inferno spinning with the wind. From space, satellites tracked the blaze. NASA classified it as a possible volcanic eruption due to the intense heat signature. The burn zone appeared as a bright white dot on thermal scans, hotter than anything else nearby. Cameras left behind captured the final moments. towers melting, fences disappearing, roads buckling. At 06:45, the final explosion rocked the site. A hidden cache of weapons detonated underground, including 500 pounds of plastic explosives, grenades, and missile parts. Seismic instruments in 3 countries recorded the blast. Smoke billowed high and was visible 50 miles away. Pieces of burning metal rained down from 8,000 feet. Nearby airports paused flights. Residents in Guatemala City reported thunder-like sounds on clear days. By 0700, fires faded, not from suppression, but because nothing was left to burn. What had once been a sprawling 15-acre base was now a burned-out crater marked by 3 massive holes. At 0730, the Reaper finished scanning. No people remained. The mission's objective was fully achieved. A $100 million lab was turned into a $100 million crater. The message? Attempting to set up drug labs under surveillance invites swift, final consequences. The cartel learned the hard way. American air power is unmatched. Some lessons come from classrooms, others from 2,000-pound bombs. The message is unmistakable. Hide if you want, run if you must. But if the United States Air Force finds you, they finish you. No warnings, no negotiations, just fire and steel from the sky. And in this war, there is no jungle thick enough to hide from judgment. 6 minutes. That's all it took. Thanks for watching. While you're still here, click the link on your screen for more videos. See you there.